People get scammed by dealerships all over the world, but today we're going to be focusing solely on the UK and exactly how we can prevent that from happening in the future. So make sure you watch this video until the end, otherwise you'll be the next one getting crushed. Hello everybody, my name is Rayhan Ayub, founder of Autora, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about how Autora is going to fix the UK car industry. Now I'm going to split the video into 3 sections. The first section is going to be why Autora exists, the second one's going to be how we plan to fix the industry, and the third one is what we need to make it happen. Without further ado, let's start with section 1. So why does Autora exist? Now I think the best way to start this video is just me talking a little bit more about my own personal story. I did not actually go to a dealership, but I did get it from a private seller. And what you'll find is a lot of the issues do correlate between dealership and private seller. I was 19 when I passed my driving test and I was really excited to get a car, as everyone always is. Me jumping into the sort of car learning journey, I wasn't much aware of what to do in terms of buying the car and also where to buy a car from. All of these were ambiguous to me. I did not know how to go about attacking any of these issues. And so what did I do? Well, the thing most people do. Go to friends, go to family, go to people who are apparently very good with cars. After consulting about 20 family members, we came to the conclusion that this car was the one. Now, as a Ford Focus, it was up about 2.5 hours away from me. Now, as far as we were concerned, the car looked great, the seller looked good, and the conversation we had with him was really nice too. But the issue is that's never enough. And I think the one thing you'll take away from this video is research is everything, education is everything, and knowing where to go is also a really big part. So me and my family got in the car and my dad drove us for 2.5 hours up to this place. We finally get there. One, it was extremely shady, completely broken down. I remember there was like mud when we were driving into the road trying to get in and stuff. We finally got to the guy after like 40 minutes of genuinely looking for this man. Went through the conversations. Now when we actually pulled up, the car looked like it was having work done on it as we were arriving. Immediately that gave me some red flags, but I was just kind of told to just shut up. We've driven for 2 and a bit hours. We're kind of here now. And truthfully, at that point, you know, you spent so much time getting to the place that unless it was a huge red flag, I'm not going to turn around and go back. Went to the guy, we spoke with him. Obviously, my dad haggled the price a little bit. And ultimately, we managed to take £200 off the total price of the car. Now, it wasn't a lot, but my granddad and my dad, I sort of just left them. I said, okay, look, I don't know a single thing about cars. I want you guys to go out, you have a look around. Tell me what looks bad, what looks good, whatever. They came back with one issue they could find. And same with me, I couldn't really identify much. Like I said, I didn't know anything. Number one issue they came with was the interior lamp, like at the top of the car, wouldn't work. And that was essentially the only thing they could find. Now, apart from that, the car had about 1 scratch on it around and the tires needed replacing. But all in all, not big things. My dad decided to test drive it. 1, because he actually was the one who got insured of it, obviously. And 2, because he has more experience and could probably feel what's wrong with the car. And so we went for the test drive. Everything seemed perfect. It was not the case. We ended up driving back. Well, the first few weeks were absolutely fine, as usually these sorts of things are, right? The 3rd month came around and the first issue came up. A head gasket issue. Month 5 came. 2nd issue came up. Injectors. Month 6 came, power steering and power rack issues. Now, as I still have that car, we're about 1.5 years, I've paid probably more than double the car's original price in repairs. And in fact, as I am talking right now, I'm literally awaiting a wet belt to be changed. Now, Ford wet belts are expensive, right? Super expensive because they have to go inside the engine, they have to take the belt out, they have to do whatever they need to do, basically take apart the whole engine. And so it's looking like that alone is going to cost me way above £1,000. Pair that with the fact that mechanics I was with us telling me that the timing belt of it's also messed up. So all in all, the car's looking to be about £2,000 just to repair this one issue, potentially slightly more. And when you think about the original price of the car being £2,700, I mean, each repair has costed me £500 to £800. You get the odd ones which are like £100, £200 fixed, but the issue was I never had a working car. This whole time, it's almost been 2 years, and my car has been screwed. And so what did I think? I thought the issue was me. I thought the issue was my parents and my family just in general for not checking properly, but the truth was I didn't know where to go. I mean, this was before ChatGPT was becoming a huge thing. This was before AI was becoming a huge thing. And ultimately, I just wasn't educated. I didn't know what to do. And I think that day sort of struck a chord with me because a lot of the issues we found out were actually because the seller was dodgy. I also thought this was just me. Truth is, this has not just happened to me. I looked online, I spoke to friends, I spoke to more family, and it seems like every single person I know and every friend I've ever met has always had an issue with a car. And I'm not just talking about the mechanical side, I'm talking about the person who sold it to them, the dealership they went to. The people they thought had really good reviews ended up being nothing more than just a facade. It was from there that I decided this is an issue. People have had this issue for ages. If you even think about the salesman stigma, for how many decades has it been whenever you go into a car dealership you think, oh, he's going to probably try to get a little bit more commission out of me. And it's true. It's completely true. This is the thing, right? Salesmen need commission, you need a car. And so unless you know what you're looking for, there's always going to be an issue in between. And so Autora's job is to help bridge the gap between your comprehension, your understanding, and the decisions you make. So that takes me on to section 2. How is Autora the solution to this? How do we plan on fixing the industry? I'm going to split this up into 2 sections. Now, they're both sort of adjacent to each other and they both link to each other non-stop throughout, but I will start with the first one. The first one is education. Now, like I said before, you need to be educated. You don't know how to make these decisions, nor do you know where to get the information from. What we've created is we've created an education hub. The education hub goes from numerous topics. Now, yes, this is my first website ever built. Is it perfect? No. But I want you guys to actually take a look and understand the actual ethos and thought process of the website is different to most. You'll find that it doesn't look like your standard website. If anything, it looks more like an app on desktop form. Going through A-levels and just the UK education system as a whole, you realize how important flashcards are. And so we thought, why don't we do a flashcard system for car knowledge? If you want to understand how dealerships work, how commissions earn, vehicle appraisal tips, how to value a vehicle, first time buyer guides, the list goes on, how to spot scams, everything of the sort is explained with easy to understand, short condensed flashcards. Even finance terms. How many finance terms have you heard before? APR, PCP, HP, and you thought, I have no clue as to what that means. So many people think that. It all starts from understanding you have a lack of education, and now how do we ameliorate that to get you to the point where you can feel confident. Now, this is extremely true for both young women and young men. When they go into a dealership, they have to bring someone. And the main issue that people make is they assume, well, if I bring someone, one, surely the salesman's going to feel a little on edge and therefore use less tactics, which doesn't work, by the way. And 2, you just feel more confident. You feel like you've got more opinions. You're in a group, so now it's no longer an issue of, if the car messes up down the line, no one can point fingers and say, well, it was your fault. You checked it. You didn't want to bring us. And so people bring it in as almost like a safety net. The funniest thing about this situation as a whole is that the people you bring also do not know a single thing about cars. They think just because they've owned 5 cars in their life, that 1, they know absolutely everything, and 2, they're educated enough to give you advice. And I'm telling you from first-hand experience and from having numerous conversations, that's never the case. This is the first main pillar of Autora: education. Understanding what to know, how do I get access to that information, and how to apply it. The second pillar of this section is the Autora seal. What's the Autora seal? Essentially, the goal of what we want to do is go into dealerships in person and audit them on an extremely hard criteria. Now, currently, as it stands on the website, we haven't verified any online audits we do. Now, the online audits we do, we look at the dealership, we look at their website, we look at all their past communications, we look at the Google reviews, the exact complaints they get, we look at it within the quarter, as well as the whole livelihood of the dealership. We look on social media, we look at every single piece of information online we can to give it an Autora seal. Now, there's 5 ranks to an Autora seal. I can get into that in another video. But essentially, we rank it based on what we can see online. The issue is, dealerships are really smart in the sense of if they have a good customer and the customer is really getting on and you've sold them a good deal and they're happy with the price and they're happy with the car and they're happy with the condition, etc., they'll just ask you for a good review. Because why wouldn't they? You think they have a bad customer and they're going to say, customer, please write me a review? Of course not. No one's going to do that. The main thing to understand is, or take away from this point, is that you see a Google review, you see 4.6, you think, wow, okay, 10,000 reviews, this is incredible, I'm going to go there. What you don't realize is salesmen will only ask for a Google review if the experience has been incredible. And of course, the converse of this is totally acceptable as well. Such a negative experience, they have to leave a review themselves. But the issue is, yes, we're hearing the extremes on both sides, but what about the middle ground? Ultimately, your dealership experience is It's a shade of grey, it's not black and white. When people think about Google reviews actually reflecting the business, the median of these people never actually put their thoughts across. If your service or your experience was meh, then why would you bother writing a review? That's something people need to understand. Google reviews are not the be-all end-all. They don't mean enough, and that's why you need to go in person. We'd love to go into these dealerships, rank them on criteria that only we can assess, and do it on a day that they're not aware of. We'd get their permission to come in, then we can verify the audit. Now, what happens in this case is, if we've said they're an Autora Gold, but they've actually are doing exceedingly well, combined with people in there, saying the praises of the dealership, we check paperwork, we check filings, we speak to the people, we see how they are with customers, we come in on a separate day to see how they interact with us as a fake customer, etc. If we see all of that's incredible, we can bump them up a level and say that is Autora verified. What does this do for you behind the screen? Let me tell you. To sum up this section overall, we'll educate you. You'll learn everything you need to learn. You'll know how dealerships work, how to avoid scams, how to understand when they're using you for commission. That's the base. Once we've given you that information, we'll then push you in the right directions towards the dealerships that actually value you as a customer and will not scam you. I think the closing point I kind of want to leave this section on, we are in no way, shape or form going to half-ass the reviews. If this is to benefit people, we have to be aggressively critical. We have to have sort of relentless rigor in the way we actually go and audit these places. Otherwise, what was the point of the service being a thing? Now, onto the third section and the final section. What do we need to make this happen? I want to stress to you guys the importance of feedback. You heard me say earlier, of course the website isn't the best right now. Now, I think I've done a great job personally, but like I said, it's my first website. I am new to this. I'm not a coder. The reason why it's crucial for you behind the screen to leave feedback is we don't have a lot of site visitors right now. And that's exactly why, if you give us your feedback, because of the lack of sample size, we're going to be rigorously looking at all of the data presented to us. However many people choose to leave feedback, good or bad, we'll review them and take them into account. Even if you have only negative things to say, that's completely fine. Autora is going to act like a lens into the world of dealerships, car buying, and everything to do with cars in general, right? And so if we can't take a bit of criticism, if we can't adjust the website to your needs, then what was the point of it being for the people? That's also why I want to build it in the public for you guys to see. And every sort of change or everything we do, we want to be open and transparent about. Ultimately, all we need is enough people to care about it, to bring it into existence. Because once it's there, dealerships understand we're quite a power. They understand the people are backing this, and it will eventually weed out all the terrible dealerships and actually bring independent dealerships potentially to a higher name than a lot of the main dealerships. I don't know if you guys have seen recently with the whole Auto Trader stuff going on. Independent dealerships cannot handle all of these rising costs right now. The cost for marketing on Auto Trader, the advert size, have gone from like £2,000 to like £5,000 a month. Now that's absolutely insane. And so a lot of the time, what you think is the best dealerships, ultimately it's just they have a bigger name. They've got decades of experience behind them. They've got so much scale that they can afford these increasing costs. But the independent dealerships, the people who might actually treat you well, they suffer. With enough people caring about this, we can truly bring Autora into existence and fix the industry within the UK. I think overall, it's just become way too accepted to just have a terrible car buying experience. I mean, I know so many people who've had bad ones, and the line that everyone seems to come up with in the end is, it is what it is. Or you're a car buyer when you've had something mess up, or if you've been scammed, or if something's gone wrong with a car immediately after buying it. That shouldn't be the case. If there's one thing you take away from the end of this video, is that this is something that will continue to go on forever unless we change it. If you want the people you care about, the friends you care about, to keep going through these and keep getting scammed all the time, if you want your future car buy experience to be negative, horrible, and always end up with you looking at your wallet and wondering why you can't save a penny because you're repairing it every few months, this doesn't apply to you. But the truth is, a lot of people don't want to be spending this much on a car. A lot of people don't drive for the sake of enjoying it. They drive to get from A to B, and any mechanical issues in between are ultimately a headache for them. That brings me to the last point, and the most important one potentially, but what do we need from you? We don't care about likes, we don't care about subscribers, I don't care about you saving the video. What I only care about is sharing the video so that the message can increase and get to people who truly need to hear it. And if not me, anyone better will come along and fix this issue eventually, but the truth is someone has to at least try. That's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for staying and paying attention throughout. That's Autora. That's why we exist. That's what we aim to do. That's what we're striving to accomplish within the industry. And if this is something you want to back, something you want to give feedback on, something you'd like to comment on, the website's in the bio down below, so feel free to join up. And yeah, let's make a change. It's now or never.